From its opening cinematic, its street-by-street combat, and to its pulse-pounding final boss takedown, The Division doesn't disappoint. Action fans will love it, RPG heads will become engrossed, all the while your eyes will feast on a bonanza of visual eye candy. But have Ubisoft finally done the unimaginable and created an unexpected MMORPG phenomena? Open world games as well as MMORPGs have been transforming for the past few years. MMORPGs are still dominated by the elephant in the room, otherwise known as World of Warcraft, and despite numerous attempts over the past 10 years, no game has really managed to spin off a new market within WoW genre ownage. Is it possible, however, that Ubisoft has finally done what so many have attempted to do? No, not nearly. What The Division is a blend of game genres. It blends MMORPG and single-player co-op 4-player seamlessly into a whole. It takes the best ideas from games like Defiance, Destiny, Guild Wars the original, and of course World of Warcraft, and creates something quite unique. Let's talk about the way it looks. I'm not going to hesitate. In terms of online multiplayer, The Division's complex and rich environments are nothing short of breathtaking. I don't remember a world so richly realised in gaming. Perhaps The Witcher 3 came close to this, but I would say that The Division's visuals are unsurpassed. It is a modern game on PC, the only platform worth taking seriously these days. The game is exceptional, making full use of Nvidia's technology to give us a world that feels and looks almost as rich as a film, and in places more so. One of the first major missions you will embark on is set in Madison Square Garden, not a place I have been to in real life, but in The Division it has been converted into a makeshift field hospital to treat the millions of people affected by the smallpox outbreak. The detail level within the garden is so high that I was oohing and ahhing whilst trying to beat off a determined group of rioters. The cover system and tactical way you have to use cover and weapons is reminiscent of tactical combat games like Rainbow Six, Gears of War, Splinter Cell and yes, XCOM. But in The Division it is done in such a tuned real-time way that you won't feel you are battling the control system. It is intuitively simple and highly satisfying, and there is nothing more satisfying than achieving a headshot kill from cover which rewards the player with the sickening sound of a bullet impact and resultant splatter. On the subject of sound when done right in games is not noticeable, and the sound in The Division is just that. That's not to say it isn't impressive, it really is. The sound effects, music and ambience are all done beautifully and blend into the background to give you an immersion-inducing effect. The music sometimes surprises, blending riffs right out of Blade Runner with techno and cinema-style scores. Where The Division really shines, however, is in its raw gameplay. You are in an open world game, and with that are some expectations. You are going to be travelling from point A to point B. When you get to your destination you will do something. Kill lots of bad guys and get loot reward, and The Division doesn't change from this tried and tested formula. What it does do is put you in your own instance of the world, so you won't accidentally come across someone within the game world. You'll meet others in the social hub in one corner of the map or at the plentiful safe houses, or you can join someone on your Uplay friend list by clicking them on the map and clicking a key. I've always preferred this system to the persistent single world, because in persistent worlds you'll always find juvenile idiots exploiting a game's mechanic to annoy other players, and even The Division was impacted by this on launch day by idiots blocking the path of newbies so they couldn't advance. Playing with a multitude is fun, but it's frustrating as hell when a total idiot wants to spoil everyone else's fun. Once grouped in an up to 4-player group, your group will persist in its own instance. Of note, when you move from a persistent area or social hub into your instance of the world, there is no loading time. Nothing. It's seamless. So seamless you won't even notice it's happened, and I think that alone is one of the most exciting and enticingly delicious things that Ubisoft have done with the game. You can also team up in a more traditional way by going to locations within safe zones and finding your buddies on the system and creating a group. All these mechanisms work well and without flaw. The actual firefights that you will engage in are, for the most part, unscripted and will vary from place to place. However, the larger missions are more scripted, and once you have done the same mission more than a few times, you will know where and when enemies will come from. This is a shame, and I feel there was a missed opportunity here. Those missions would be far more playable if they varied somewhat, and whilst there are 2 levels of difficulty, the AI doesn't really get better on hard level. Instead, the mobs and bosses become even bigger bullet sponges with outrageously large time to kill. But here is a big but. Even though these larger missions do get repetitive, conquering those missions on hard level is very rewarding, both in terms of holy crap we did it and the larger loot you can get from them. But everything I have said so far is within the player versus environment world, and the Division has more than PvE to offer. It has the Dark Zone as well. Treading here adds a new and more potent threat: other players. Here you will battle for supremacy with your squad to get some of the best loot the game has to offer, and then to get that loot out you need to call in a helicopter to extract your finds. Of course, in those precious moments you are left unguarded, and suddenly that guy you met a few minutes ago who was so nice and healed you suddenly shoots you in the back and steals your stuff. But not without consequences. He will become a marker on everyone's map and will be hunted down mercilessly. Not since DayZ has it been so sweet to kill your fellow players, and equally the cat and mouse setup strikes fear into the hearts of all but the most hardened veteran. So after more than 40 hours, what can I call the Division? Well, it is a action massively multiplayer online role-playing game. It is Diablo in third person, set inside a near future world which is richly rendered and beautifully realised. But more than that, it offers a longevity we are not used to seeing in a game set in the third-person shooter genre. It offers the replayability, flexibility and open-ended play potential of one of the all-time greats in the MMO sphere. Once in a while, a game comes along that truly surprises me. It exceeds my expectations of it, and mixes elements from many different games to a blended smoothie of a game. The Division is one of those games. I call this a Meisterwerk. I award this a 9 out of 10 and say this is a must-own for any self-respecting PC gamer. Thanks for listening. Until next time.